condition known as CTE. And he had it at the time that he shot and killed 6 people back in April, according to authorities. CTE is believed to come from repeated blows to the head, and it has been seen in professional athletes, including football players.
Tonight, the Leslie family, who lost 4 loved ones in that shooting, expressed some comfort in the findings and the explanation for the irrational behavior that led to the murders. WCNC Charlotte's Indira Esquiva begins our team coverage at 6.
Right now, CTE can only be diagnosed after death. The family of Philip Adams donated his brain for this study in hopes that it will help diagnose people while they're living.
He was getting increasingly paranoid. He was having increasing difficulties with his memory.
Boston University researchers confirming Adams had a severe case of stage 2 CTE when detectives say he shot and killed 6 people last April in Rock Hill. CTE has no cure. Stage 4 is the most severe. It develops over time and can cause aggression, paranoia, even memory loss. Dr. Ann McKee believes Adams's time playing football, including 6 years in the NFL, contributed to him developing the disease.
In its frontal lobe predominance, Adams' CTE pathology was similar to that of another young NFL player, namely...
Wow, here we go, folks. Here we go. Welcome, everybody. Legs for Life, Phoenix Soul.
Aaron Hernandez.
In recent years, more and more cases of CTE have been diagnosed in NFL players. A 2017 study showed out of 111 NFL players whose brains were donated for testing, 110 had CTE.
No one is keeping track of what these players are exposed to, and I do think that is imperative for us to prevent this disease.
After Dr. Ann McKee and her team presented years of research in 2017, the NFL said it made several rule changes to protect players, pledged money for research, and added more medical professionals to the sidelines for games. In a written statement, the family of Philip Adams says he was, quote, desperately seeking help from the NFL, but was denied all claims because of his inability to handle simple tasks like traveling to see a doctor.
Wow, that's what you call a serious issue.
There's huge obstacles for these former players to find help.
We reached out to the NFL for comment and have not heard back. In Rock Hill, Indira Esquiva, WCNC Charlotte.
These are both NFL players, ex-NFL players.
Here we go.
60-year-old NFL player, and this is an 83.
Let me break this down before we get really started. Right now, I'm going through another reason why people might be violent. CTE is part of it. I think what CTE does, in my opinion, it doesn't make a peaceful man dangerous. I think it makes a man who has dangerous tendencies worse.
3-year-old player.
Kevin Ellison wasn't the biggest or strongest football player at USC, but he was the ideal from 2005 through 2008. The smarts to earn an economics degree, the toughness to overcome 3 knee surgeries, the legendary work ethic, and of course, the ferocious hits. He played 13 games for the NFL's San Diego Chargers in 2009. The Chargers cut him after 1 season. His career faltered, and problems emerged in 2012 when he set his apartment on fire. He claimed God told him to do it. He cycled through jobs. He went on and off medication for bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. He lived at his mother's house in Inglewood. Late one night in October 2018, a car hit and killed Kevin as he walked along the Interstate 5 freeway in the San Fernando Valley.
He was fun. He was warm and expressive.
He was always happy, smiled a lot. He made other people happy, that was the best thing about him.
He liked to eat a lot. We have stories of one of his brothers or sisters finding him in the closet with a loaf of Wonder Bread one day.
He just had this personality that it was welcoming and people wanted to be around him.
The most beautiful smile and the most beautiful eyes ever, and they just light up when he smiled. And he really cared about people.
I'm not going to say that he was my favorite brother.
This one, you can certainly see there's shrinkage. The brain is very small. There's a lot of space between these ventricles are gigantic. So no question, this is an impaired person. Just looking at the surface of the brain, you can't be sure that there's any abnormality. We'll have to cut into it. Oh, he has very large ventricles. That is a very large fourth ventricle, and also he's lost a lot of pigment laterally. It's starting to look like an impaired brain.
CTE is a devastating neurodegenerative disease researchers believe is found in the brains of people who have experienced repeated head trauma. They could be victims of domestic violence, members of the military, or football players. The disease can only be definitively diagnosed after death. Researchers have found the disease in scores of deceased players. Many of the names are familiar: Junior Seau, Dwight Clark, Frank Gifford. Kevin's family wanted to help find answers. A few days after his death, they decided to donate his brain to be studied by researchers in Boston.
It has a very distinct pathologic signature. It tends to affect certain parts of the brain.
As it progresses throughout your life, it can cause problems with cognition, problems with mood, problems with behavior. And the number one thing is changes your personality.
The process is the family calls our brain bank numbers. They will arrange for a local person to go out to the funeral home where the person is and have the brain and the spinal cord removed. And then it's air freighted to our labs. Under the best of circumstances, it usually takes 2 months to process the brain. But because we have a backlog and we can't even get to it right away, that's wow. His ventricle is very large. Yeah, it's notched. Even his hippocampus and amygdala look too small.
Ew.
Ooh, so now we have a better chance to look at that membrane. First of all, it's really irregular. The corpus callosum is thin, but then this membrane should be that white, and it should be nice and straight, and it's all gelatinous and irregular. It looks damaged. Then we make our routine blocks. We take our standard sections from the 29 to 30 areas. It goes through a series of processing, gets processed into wax. It'll be cut on a microtome into extremely thin slices, and those thin slices will be stained with a variety of stains and immunostains. And then the ultimate result is this box of slides, and we'll look through these, and this will form the basis of the pathologic diagnosis. And that's done completely independently of what the clinicians are doing.
And then all the families, they go through this kind of long iterative process where we gather a bunch of clinical information. We gather medical history, psychological history, substance abuse history. We gather a history of their cognitive, behavioral, and mood symptoms, what kind of symptoms they had, what was the course of those symptoms. And they do this through over-the-phone interviews. They do this through online questionnaires.
And they basically, in a sense, paint a picture of what this patient had. And in a sense, they come up with their own clinical diagnosis, and we try to we show them our pathologic diagnosis, and hopefully the two correlate.
The purpose of this is to move us closer to being able to diagnose the CTE during life and figuring out the specific symptoms associated with it.
You know, this is the biggest brain bank in the world by far that is interested in traumatic injury to the nervous system. We're getting more and more women's brains. Traditionally, we've gotten very few, but we're now starting to see some women cheerleaders, soccer players, cyclists, and they're coming in.
There's a million reasons why you don't want to believe this is true. If you're a parent, no parent wants to believe that they put their kid at a risk that they didn't know. If you're an ex-player, you don't want to believe this because you don't want to believe you could be at risk, and you don't want to believe you're going to watch some friends suffer with this. If you're a fan, the best part of football used to be the big hits.
I never expected this amount of rage, and it gets almost irrational at times. You know, I can see sort of this irrational rage against the work.
I've had a million people tell me we've ruined the big hits for them. And a lot of people tell me that we've ruined Sundays for them because they can't enjoy football in the same way.
Part of it is it's just so ingrained in our culture. We love these sports so much. I'm just the bearer of very, very bad, unwelcome news. That it's very unwelcome that I'm female, that I'm saying this to basically men. And I'm saying, you know, this is dangerous.
We need to figure out who's at risk, what are the risk factors, and that's just incredibly motivating.
When we actually do this, I think the passion all of us, all my colleagues as well as the staff bring to this, is we all know that there's a loved one, a person who passed behind this case.
The doctor said that was very aggressive for a man his age, had a lot of lesions in the brain. CTE, shows up more the longer you play football and at the higher levels in which you play football. And Kevin started when he was 8.
That makes sense because you're getting hit harder the higher level you go. Everybody's faster, everybody's stronger. Yeah.
Playing tackle football, and he made it to the NFL. So
It hasn't changed how I feel about football. I'm more concerned about young people playing football.
watching it for me right now it's hard.
People love watching it. People think these guys are demigods most of the time, and they make a lot of money.
Let me pause
Players
this
sacrifice a
right there. Yes, we are talking about CTE. We have a football game tomorrow, by the way. It's Thursday night. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's good seeing you. We're gonna take a quick jump over to Diddy it's very quick jump over to Diddy situation. I believe this guy right here was a bodyguard or something for Diddy or for Kim Porter. And basically, if you didn't already know, Diddy broke Kim Porter's nose. Diddy was a piece of shit, man. Still is. There's no other way to put it. I mean, the thing is that Diddy is a reflection of the community. Most of the rappers, if you look at their past, they all have a violent past or a very, 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 very corrupt past at best, where they were drug dealers or they were in some sort of hustle. So why are we making these guys our role models? I don't get it.
Had defended herself, and same thing, bro. Kim was going through the same thing, the beatings. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, and now I could say one time when I know Kim had defended herself, and I told people this, and now everybody, after Cassie report comes out, everybody want to show the picture now. You see a picture on the internet going with Puff, right hand is in a bandage. That's the night I was called by Paul to meet him over at St. Luke's Hospital. He had a white t-shirt wrapped around his wrist because Kim had took the cork, where you open up wine, the corkscrew. She took the corkscrew and caught him on his wrist defending himself. And he almost, I know he tore some ligament, but he almost hit an artery. I came close to the artery or either scratched it or cut it a little bit because he just kept bleeding. And from that point on, he was hooked. That's when I knew when they was talking about people getting addicted and hooked on pain medicines, that's what happened to him. And it was from his right wrist that he's reminded by Kim all the time now.
So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that, because there's still a lot of chatter out there in the internet about they don't think Diddy should go to prison. They don't think Diddy did anything so bad. Why did the women stay so long? Stuff like that. And these people, I don't know, I don't get it, because it's like almost there's no empathy. A lot of it happens to be in the manosphere, and it's getting on my nerves. I'm telling you.
Pictures of this girl, not the shit that y'all saw. Worse, way worse.
Wow. Oh, you kidding me, yo?
Like penetration pictures and
Nah, come on, man. Come on, Phil.
50 Cent reacted to Diddy reaching a settlement with Cassie in her lawsuits. LOL. He paid that money real quick. He should have done that before the sharks saw that blood in the water. And here they come. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Every woman he put his hands on.
Y'all, this
And it
situation.
should be that. Every woman he put his hands on should seek retribution. He's a monster that was left monstering for way too long. So I don't see what the problem is. Nobody should have a problem with this. You know when they have a problem? When it's like maybe their mom. That was their mom was Kim Porter. That type of stuff. That's what's crazy to me. Shout out to Queen Award in the house, Gold Reflection, Betterment of Black Women, Mistress Newbie, Legs for Life, Phoenix Soul, Millie Pop, Camo. Everybody's up in here tonight. Nice little quiet night, right before Thanksgiving. Can't ask for a better evening. So anyway, let me go a little bit more into this monster series here. We're gonna have to touch on Diddy because Diddy is the epitome of the Black community. He is seen as the high value man, to me, with low value morals. But unfortunately, these are the type of men that the majority of men, okay, look up to. Do you really think they're going to stop looking up to him? No, you're going to start hearing the excuses just like you did with R. Kelly. You know? You know? That's what I see happening. That's what you're going to see. Listen, a little more.
Situation with Diddy and Cassie just got even more disturbing because photos emerged of Cassie with a messed up face, which she allegedly sustained after Diddy put hands on her back in 2000.
I mean, they all had messed up faces. He's a monster. He's a monster. Millie Pops breaks it down like this. I have no idea how people look up to him. I've never liked him since I was a kid. The only reason is financial. He's basically a thug that got lucky. And did it the dirty way.
2014. Meanwhile, audio surfaced of 50 Cent saying someone sent him some graphic photos of Cassie, apparently taken during one of the freak-offs that Diddy forced her to participate in. Now, Diddy may have settled his lawsuit with Cassie, but trust, that is just the beginning because Cassie opened the floodgates and people are finally speaking out about all the messed up things they witnessed Diddy do to women. So what exactly was in these photos that 50 Cent saw of Cassie? And does this prove Diddy pimped Cassie out? Let's break it down.
They know, like, if something crazy is going on, if they send it to me, I'll make sure it get out there. Like, as far as this 50.com is concerned.
Yeah, yep. It's just such a shame. Basically, he was exactly who he was when he was growing up. Everybody says, oh yeah, they get out of the hood and they get rich and, they change. These men don't change. Jeezy didn't change. I'm damn sure that JC didn't change and definitely Diddy didn't change. They might have become more refined gangsters, but they're still gangsters. And they represent the Black male community. It's embarrassing to me. It It really is. Let's dive back into this situation. Hold on one second. All right. All right. And right lined up along with superstar rappers, we have sports players, some damaged by CTE, some not. Not a thing that got lucky. I'm telling you. Here we go.
Courtroom. Former NFL player Zach Stacy is expected to face a judge again after his arrest last week made national headlines. The woman he's accused of brutally attacking is asking the judge to revoke his bond. Ezzy Castro's live at the Orange County Courthouse, and it was the victim's viral video that helped lead to Stacy's arrest.
Correct. She posted that video on social media, and we now learn she's expected to testify before the judge with the hope of possibly getting Zach Stacy back behind bars. A hearing to reconsider the bond of former NFL player Zach Stacy is set for later this morning. The 30-year-old is accused of attacking his ex-girlfriend inside her Oakland home earlier this month. The video, which is too graphic to show, shows Stacy allegedly slapping, punching the victim before throwing her into a TV all in front of her infant
Another ditty.
son. He then fled the state but was arrested last week in Orange County.
All right, Mr. Stacy, you want to set your bond in count one, an amount of $10,000, count two, amount of $150. Condition of your bond, you don't have no contact with the victim in this case.
Over the weekend, Stacy walked out of jail after posting a $10,000 bond. But according to court records, the victim says Stacy's first appearance was moved up last minute, and she was not able to testify as a domestic violence victim. The documents also point out the victim is in fear for her life and has been receiving threats and is afraid to go back to her home. And Stacy is facing aggravated battery and criminal mischief charges. His hearing is set for 10 o'clock, and we will be here. We will keep you updated on what the judge decides. Live outside the Orange County Courthouse, Ezzy Castro, getting results. News 6.
That is just crazy.
Thank you, Ezzy.
A former NFL player will spend the next 6 months in jail after beating his girlfriend. And we're seeing
How do you spend only 6 months in jail for beating up anybody, male or female, really? That's crazy to me. Quita Ward says they can't even talk about women being 304s because those men are in our industry 304s. Yep, basically. Yep.
footage of some of the violence she endured at the hands of the 216-pound running back. Amber Cogliano has an exclusive interview with the girlfriend, and we should warn you, some of these videos are tough to watch.
It's a former football star out of control.
Open the door, Chris. I'm gonna break the window. Open the door.
Watch what happens when his ex-girlfriend tries to flee from him. Then the chilling just-released video shows former New York Jet Zach Stacy grabbing a windshield wiper.
Give me my money, Chris.
His ex, Kristen Evans, was at the wheel. What was that all about?
It was an argument about rent money.
The 31-year-old running back has just been sentenced to 6 months in jail after pleading guilty to criminal mischief. In this video, he picks her up and hurls her into a TV like a rag doll. He continues to abuse her in front of their 5-month-old son as she begs him to stop.
Please, please, please.
But Kristen tells me she did not want Stacy to spend a day behind bars.
No one wants
Big mistake. Big mistake. Okay, maybe not behind bars in a jail or a prison, but definitely behind bars in a psychiatric ward or something until he gets right. If he gets right.
To put their son's father in jail.
You don't believe he should be in jail?
It's not that I don't believe that.
See, this is a funny thing. This is what a lot of people think is, and this is kind of a dangerous notion because think about it. The men that make the women pregnant, the women have the guys' kids, and then the guys get violent. And then every time you know, he gets violent, the excuse to keep him out, but to continue to be violent is that, well, he has to take care of his kid, which, let's face it, he probably is doing more damage to the kid than he is benefiting the child. This is a very much of a super duper dilemma. Phoenix Soul breaks it down. That's the problem with black men. He thinks having money represents his growth as a person. Bars.
He acted in a way that deserved jail time. It's that I feel that jail does not offer the resources that people with mental health that are in a mental health crisis need. He would have more benefit from mental health services.
I mean, the thing is that you have to look at his history, and it has to be, to me, it would have to be just like, this is the only incident. But this isn't. He's violent enough that he needs to be watched over constantly, all day, every day, no matter what. That's what I'm thinking. Let me break it down. Phoenix Soul in the house. Millie Pop is in the house. A Lady is in the house. Quita Ward is in the house. Mistress Newbie is in the house. Legs for Life is in the house. We have Camo in the house. RV in the clouds. Betterment of Black women in the house. Gold Reflection in the house. We're going to keep this going. We are going to keep this going. If you are in the house, put something in the chat. I want to make sure I get you on the chat out. El Viajero Pues is in the house. Let's keep this going. This is crazy right here.
Kristen's attorney says authorities would likely have ignored her case without the disturbing videos.
What about all the women who don't have videos of their attacks? Thank God we
had
them here, and Kristen was able to get some level of justice.
All day, every day, 40%. 40% for Black women in DV situations. And that poor child. They should tack on time for if they do it in front of a child, whatever the crime is.
Tonight, we are reintroducing you to the woman who shared heartbreaking video of her own domestic violence attack. Late last year, former NFL player Zach Stacy was arrested for assaulting Kristen Evans, the mother of his then 4-month-old son, in her Central Florida.
You know what I noticed about Kristen Evans is that she's not Black. And the argument in the manosphere is that Black women sort of deserve to be disrespected or abused because they don't act right, right? So what excuse do they have for this situation? Nothing. Nothing. It was just an excuse. Basically, violent men are just violent, and they're just looking for an excuse to be violent.
Florida home.
We need to warn you that video is hard to watch. Question News reporter Anika Hope spoke to Evans today about how she survived it all.
Last November, this video went viral. Kristen Evans told us then that this video showed former NFL player Zach Stacy beating her in front of their 4-month-old son.
He has bullied me for so long and put me in a mental state where at one point I believed it was my fault. It's overwhelming to think back.
This is her now.
This is the person I was before. You know, I was very bubbly and happy. So during that time when we spoke last, it was such a vulnerable time for me. I look back and it's kind of like, wow, that doesn't even look like the same person that I am.
Art helped her get here. Thursday, her exhibit called Say It Out Loud opened, raising awareness of domestic violence. These are not just pieces of art. They're the actual pieces of her life. The pieces she had to pick up after domestic violence shattered it.
The actual television is the television that I was thrown into. So, I mean, just having to keep that around in my house, knowing I'm going to use that and I'm going to use it for something good, but like staring at it every day was really tough. This is the actual bouncy seat that I was thrown into. This over here represents my daughter. She went through a lot of depression.
I'm sure she did.
Never thought she'd be physically hurt by someone she loved. But she never thought she'd someday be an artist either.
It kind of released something in me that made me feel a little bit better.
Anika Hope, WESH 2 News.
Right.
Several inmates are.
Okay, guess who just got out? Well, actually, it looks like he just got out about 5 years ago. Remember Ray Ray? This is the guy who I would call the epitome of Pookie and Ray Ray. I agree. Her hair was on point. That was for sure. Here we go.
Are standing outside their units, kind of just checking us out, checking out the whole situation.
Let me bring up the volume real quick. Hold on.
Here, but definitely the most action that this person has seen in quite some time. It's probably going to be about 20-30 seconds total before as he leaves.
Let me stop that right there. This is the story of Ray Caruth, who hired a hitman to do what a lot of men do, which is to delete black male babies. But you know how they do it? They delete the mother along with the male baby or the female baby, which is funny to me because they want to complain about what Cynthia G says, but men do a better job naturally. By the way, men are the endorsers, at least in 50% of, the deletions of babies. Men are the endorsers and forcers and endorsers, by the way. Let me keep it going. Here we go.
Did you say, I hope the bitch dies? Did you say that? That's the bitch I was talking about. Oh, I see. Right, Caruth. That's your client, the bitch.
Nobody wanted to be within arm's length of Van Brett Watkins.
I was very glad the marshals were between me and him.
He had a look in his eyes that I've maybe only seen once or twice in my life. It was the look of, I can do whatever I want to do to whoever I want to do it to.
If you pushed enough of Van Brett Watkins' buttons, you could see what a violent anger management problem.
Isn't that the pathology that somebody we know was talking about? I guess you know who, since y'all don't like me saying her name, right? You dudes out there. Was right.
He has.
So you're sort of a hitman without a weapon. Is that what you are? If that's what you want to say. Well, that's what you were, according to you. If that's what I could kill you with my hands. Okay. Is that what you were? I could kill you with my hands.
And the court was convinced by Caruth's attorney to find him to be a hostile witness to them, even though they were calling him, and allowed them to cross-examine him. They, I would use the term, pushed him to the point where he, at one point, actually threatened Caruth's attorney.
Pause. LV pues breaks it down like this. That's the problem with Latino and Black community people. The Latino and Black community people make excuses for bad behavior when therapy was needed. Bars. Exactly.
And so did he say, well, you go on back and you go get that gun Because I don't need to be spending another $200 and having Mr. Kennedy running all around all night looking for a gun when
I didn't need a gun. Okay, for me to kill somebody, I don't need a gun. Can't you look and see? I'm 286 pounds. Okay, I would rip you like a rag doll.
I'm 286 pounds, and I could rip you limb from limb like a little rag doll.
I'll tear you up like a rag doll.
I'll shake you like a rag doll.
I could rip you apart like a rag doll.
Right after that, I said, I have no further questions.
I'm done, Your Honor. Hey, Charlie.
You're right about that.
I mean, you go back in that jury room and you look at each other and you think, oh my God, you know, did that just happen?
So when these guys, I mean, think about it. Yeah. How, I mean, this is a question I have for the Black manosphere and the Black male community is, if we want respect from not only other cultures and other races, but from our women, wouldn't it make sense that we, how should I put it, become safer and more of a pleasure to be around? Because this ain't gonna work.
It influenced me. This guy was dangerous, without a soul.
Oops. Let me pause that right there for a second. Couldn't he be talking about so many people? I know people, he said, you could take the clip of what he just said there, and I know at least 100 guys on YouTube that matches. Without a soul. Just without a soul. So that, let's break it down some further. Right here.
911. I've been shot. You've been shot? Where are you at, man? I'm 8 months pregnant.
How'd this happen?
I was following my baby's daddy, Ray Caruth, the football player.
Where's he at?
was in the car in front of me, and he slowed down, and somebody pulled up beside me and did this.
And then where'd he go?
He did laugh. I think he did it. I don't know what.
Poor woman. You know why she was damaged and passed away? It's always over an infant. It's always over not having somebody's kid. 4.5.
That was the 911 call of Sharika Adams.
And she was so gorgeous too.
8 months pregnant, she'd been shot and left for dead. In excruciating pain and fighting to stay alive, she mustered up enough strength to drive to a nearby neighborhood. She then miraculously strategized well enough to get the attention of people inside, and she stayed on the phone with the 911 operator, outlining critical and damning information. That information would shed an unforgiving spotlight on the most shocking crime of an active NFL player to date. Welcome back to Crime A to Z, where we detail cases and criminals from their very beginning until well after other reporting ends. Today, we'll be covering the case of the only active NFL player to ever be tried for murder, the case of Ray Caruth. It's a cold-blooded case that's disturbing for both its heinousness, as well as the sickening favor and admiration that we afford to celebrities.
Exactly. Like Diddy. Okay. Like Tory Lanez. R. Kelly. I mean, if it take what the thing is it takes so long for them to be brought to justice, that the damage has been done. The community damage has been done. These are the pillars of the communities. These are what Kevin Samuels would call the high value men. And it seems like they are high value destroyers with low value morals.
We'd heard about this case before, but had no idea about the jaw-dropping twists that took place both during and after the trial. So sit back for this one as we explore how misplaced power and entitlement can look so incredibly ugly. And before we get started, if you like how we present this case, please help us out by hitting like and subscribe. Let's go.
Oh my God. A lady. She says this, man, do you know I've had discussions with women YouTube creators that say Tory Lanez is innocent? That's beyond shocking. Unfortunately, it's 100% believe you. There's something wrong. There's something going on wrong.
Sharika Luvinia Adams was born in June of 1975 to parents Sandra Adams and Jeff Mooney. Her parents only dated casually and not for long. As a result, Sharika was raised primarily by her mother, Sandra, and by her maternal grandparents in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. With Sharika's mother formulating her name from a combination of Cher, from the singing duo Sonny and Cher, and Eureka, the vacuum cleaner. Sharika was as unique and vibrant as her name. Friends and family consistently described her as magnetic and extremely likable. She also happened to be stunningly beautiful.
Yes, she did. She was. Damn.
Once she completed high school, Sharika went on to attend Winston-Salem State University in North Carolina. But in 1995, after having attended the school for 2 years, she decided that that path was not for her, dropped out, and ventured into a career in real estate. In order to make ends meet, Sharika also took on a side job as an exotic dancer at a strip club. While not originally what her mother Sandra had hoped for her daughter, she recalled, "It's not what you send your baby to college to be." But she was making so much money. And the good thing is, the men were not allowed to touch the girls. So it was not a hookup place for prostitution or anything like that. It was while she was working at the club that she met Ray Caruth. Ray came into this world as Ray Lamar Theodis Wiggins on January 20th, 1974. He, along with his brother, was raised primarily by his mother Theodre and stepfather Samuel Caruth. Early on, Ray would take on his stepfather's surname and from then on be known as Ray Theodis Caruth, retaining the name even well after his parents had divorced in 1988 when Ray was 14. Ray primarily grew up in the Oak Park area of Sacramento, California, an area
Wow, Sacramento, okay.
notorious for its drug abuse and crime. Despite the exposure, Ray steered clear of the dangers and never got into any issues with the law. He opted instead to keep his nose clean, never smoking, drinking, or doing drugs. All so he could pursue his aspirations of someday becoming famous. His plan to achieve that status? Football. And he was on his way to doing so. In high school, Caruth's skill, agility, and speed as a wide receiver on the football field were unarguable. A future fellow teammate marveled at Caruth's speed, stating, "Fast? Man, he was a track guy. I felt he was a track guy playing football." Caruth was also popular and well-liked, enough so that he was named prom king twice. And so the recruiters came calling. And so did the women. Lots of
here we go.
them. And Caruth indulged. Presented with numerous college offers, Caruth accepted a full football scholarship to the University of Colorado. There, he majored in English and aspired to be a screenwriter. But those aspirations would come second to his increasingly promising football career. He was thriving with the Colorado Buffaloes, making first-team All-American. And the NFL was waiting. In 1997, when Caruth graduated, he became an NFL first-round draft pick. He was chosen by the Carolina Panthers and signed a 4-year, $3.7 million contract with them, receiving $1.3 million of that in a lump sum signing bonus. The remainder would be spread across each of his first 4 NFL seasons. And from there, things just kept getting brighter. He made the NFL's all-rookie team in 1997.
Damn. Okay.
He was, by all accounts, well on his way to achieving the status and stardom he knew he was destined for. He was earning more than most young men his age, but he didn't get to keep it all. While Caruth was a sophomore at the University of Colorado, he briefly reconnected with his high school sweetheart, Michelle Wright, on a visit home. The result was a son. Caruth was not there for the birth.
Damn. Got to hear this one more time.
High school sweetheart, Michelle Wright, on a visit home. The result was a son. Caruth was not there for the birth and rarely saw his son. Michelle Wright later took Caruth to court.
Right there, it tells you everything you need to know. Let's keep it going.
Seeking child support. She began receiving $3,000 a month from him as a result. Toward the end of his time at Colorado, Caruth met a woman named Amber Turner. She would ultimately move with him to North Carolina after he was drafted and become pregnant by him the next year in 1998. He was able to convince her.
See, this is crazy. It's like making somebody pregnant is so easy for these guys. They don't marry them or nothing. They just make them pregnant.
To have an abortion.
See, told you. Didn't I tell you? Told you. Abort. Black male babies, right? Cynthia G was just using it as an analogy while these guys were actually doing that. I want to replay that again. This is really important right here. Listen.
Woman named Amber Turner. She would ultimately move with him to North Carolina after he was drafted and become pregnant.
Moved with him. Doesn't that sound submissive to you? Isn't that what submission is about? Leaving a life that you know for somebody else. Welcome, T. That's submission. And what was his reward? It was this.
By him the next year in 1998.
He made her pregnant. What else happened?
He was able to convince her to have an abortion. Caruth began.
There we go. So all this time, the manosphere has been trying to convince people that Black women are to blame for abortions and everything, when the sponsors are usually the men themselves. Ain't that something? Let's read this slowly like we're in 5th grade. He convinced Amber to have an abortion. This is a guy who could clearly afford a child. Nobody's going to jump up and say, hey, dude, why didn't you strap up? Why did you make her pregnant? And then why did you force her to have an abortion? That's crazy to me. And then somehow these fools out here are trying to blame women when it's usually men that do the sponsoring of these abortions. And I guarantee you he was probably cheating with her, cheating on her, everything. Let's keep it going.
And living lavishly and excessively. Between the child support he was ordered to pay, along with his excessive spending on homes, cars, relatives, and failed investments, Caruth's finances were problematic.
That's the thing. is how are you going to be high value? What? See, that's why that fraud, Kevin Samuels, he gets on my nerves, because really, what really is high value when most of these men, 80% of the men in the NFL are broke when retirement time comes around. So where's the value?
And more problems were on the horizon, namely that he kept getting injured, starting with a broken foot in the season opener of his second season. He would remain injured for that entire season. Things were beginning to look questionable for Caruth's longevity in the league. It was around this time, June of 1998, that Caruth met Sharika Adams. Sharika was attending a pool party, as were several pro athletes, including Caruth. Sharika and Caruth had instant chemistry, so much so that just a few hours after they met, Sharika saw it fit to take Caruth to her father's home to meet him.
Holy shoot. Bad move.
The couple would see each other intermittently during that summer, not fully committing since each of them was seeing someone else. But a few months later, they both
Okay. Already was messy from the beginning. Let's keep it going.
attended a birthday party at the strip club where Sharika worked, and the pair reconnected after that. Within a few months, Sharika would end up pregnant by
Oh, you got to be kidding me. So, another example, high value man. Let me see what he's going to say this time. A couple months later,
Ray Caruth.
Does he sound like a leader? Does he sound responsible? Does he sound logical? Let's find out. Welcome, King Lucifer.
Caruth was not at all pleased. Given the child support he was already paying for his first child, his financial challenges, and his near chronic injured status, he had no interest in supporting another child. So according to reports, which Caruth disputes, he asked Sharika to get an abortion.
Told you. Delete black male babies by black men. High King Lucifer in the house. What else would you expect from a stripper? What the thing is that it really, I guess, King, what I'm saying is this, is that men should be kings. Men should be making the smart decision for both people, whether they be a stripper, a lawyer, a doctor, is what's best for the partnership, what's best for each person. The men have to have enough empathy and enough kindness to be responsible enough not to just slang day all over the place, making women pregnant. And when they get pregnant, oh my God, what happened? You know, if anything, Ray should have known better. Ray should have known better. He should have known that, okay, if she's in the stripper life, whatever way we want to paint it, I'm just going with it because, nothing says that she was, loose or anything, if you want to call it that. But if she's in this, if he knows better, if she's in that life, then he should know in that life. So let's keep it going on.
But she adamantly refused. According to friends, it was clear to Sharika that the pro football player had no interest
Wait a minute. I thought, wait a minute, the manosphere blames black women for getting, abortions. But it's the men that seem to be doing all the endorsement in it. And it seems to be, not in the manosphere because they lie, but basically it seems like every real life situation, it's the guy demanding an abortion go down, right? And the woman to keep it. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Go. King. The ladies are throwing it down here. What else would you expect from a stripper, right? And then Phoenix breaks it down and says, King Lucifer, statistically, you would know that what produces the sex industry? Men. And then Gold comes back and goes, right. He was a football player, so tell us what we should expect from him. These are some strong arguments here. Strong arguments. Let's keep it going. Yeah. Black men, yeah. Promote abortions. Who does abortions benefit the most? Who doesn't want to pay for child support? That's who. Boom. There's your answer.
Being involved in their child's life, but she didn't care. She was determined to have the baby anyway, and abortion was out of the question. Caruth wanted out, no matter the means. And his opportunity came quickly when he was introduced to Van Brett Watkins. Watkins was a security guard at a Charlotte strip club and an established criminal. He had served time in prison for multiple hard crimes, and by his own admission, he'd been hired to kill 4 people up until that point and had successfully done so.
Wow, this is really looking good for us right here, fellas. Ladies, on behalf of these degenerates, I apologize.
With Caruth standing at a mere 5 feet, 11 inches, and 194 pounds, tiny by NFL standards, he originally hired Watkins to be his bodyguard. But within a few weeks, Caruth, aware of Watkins' reputation, had a more sinister proposition for the hitman. He wanted Watkins to beat his pregnant girlfriend and force her to lose the baby. He asked Watkins how much that would cost him. Watkins' response, "I don't beat up a girl. I kill people." Caruth was fine with
Let's keep it going.
that outcome as well. So they settled on a payment of $3,000 up front and $3,000 upon completion of the job. And they began planning. They explored idea after idea, including Watkins carrying out the deed, while Caruth was in South Carolina at training camp. But no.
The sad part is this is not just limited to famous football players. The D-slingers that are loose with their juice but don't want a kid, they are so dangerous.
Nothing was finalized. Then, with Sharika having progressed to being 8 months pregnant, they needed
8 months. She almost made it. Damn.
Move quickly. The plan was for Caruth to take Sharika on a date to the movies. Then afterward, he'd tell her that he wanted to spend the night at her home. They would drive back to his place, pick up her car, and drive in their separate cars to her home. Caruth leading and Sharika following. And in a car behind her would be Watkins, a local drug dealer named Michael Kennedy, who supplied the gun and getaway car, and Kennedy's best friend Stanley Abraham, also a drug dealer.
So, when is the manosphere going to solve this problem? Anytime soon would be appreciated, fellas. What, you guys been in existence for 10 or 15 years? Where's the improvement? After the Black manosphere was put together, right? Where is the improvement in the community? Where is the improvement with Black men as far as success? Black women are doing their part. Look at this. Over a pregnant woman. Over a pregnant woman that wanted the baby. I don't want to hear any crap about the black male baby thing anymore. You can see who wants to delete the black male babies. Black males. Let me repeat that one more time, just in case. I don't want to hear nothing about Cynthia G's black male baby analogy when it's actual black men deleting black male babies and adults too. Let's not forget about that. Black men, we're deleting each other at a fever pitch. So we don't want to solve that problem. No, we want to complain about women. Excellent option. Black women, the least problem. They're only women who defend us, and you want to make them the problem. Make that make sense. Welcome the treason. She breaks it down like this. King Lucifer, come on, man. She was also a real estate agent and was in college.
They would orchestrate a stop in a remote area, and Watkins would ambush Sharika. And that's exactly how it unfolded. Sometime after midnight, on November 16th, 1999, as the three cars traveled along a twisting two-lane road in Charlotte, Carruth stopped his car in front of Sharika's, so Sharika was forced to stop behind him. That's when Kennedy drove up beside Sharika's car, boxing her in. Watkins was sitting in the backseat on the passenger side and closest to Sharika on her driver's side, his window rolled down. He opened fire on Sharika at close range, shooting her 4 times. Once the shooting was over, Carruth drove away. And so did Kennedy, taking away Watkins' ability to check and make sure Sharika was dead. She wasn't. She was still alive.
911. I've been shot. You've been shot? Where are you at, man? I'm 8 months pregnant.
How'd this happen?
I was following my baby's daddy, Ray Caruso, the football player.
Where's he
He was
at?
in the car in front of me, and he slowed down and somebody pulled up beside me and did this.
And then where'd he go?
He just left. I think he did it. I don't know what to think of.
Sharika was able to use a cell phone that Carruth had previously given to her as a gift to dial 911. She was even able to drive her car a couple hundred yards to a nearby neighborhood and then into the yard of one of its homes. And then she had the presence of mind to honk her horn. An act that may have saved precious minutes since the owner inside called 911 and helped the responders who were struggling to find her pinpoint her exact location.
Dang.
The call started with the 911 operator, but once the operator learned that Sharika was shot, she patched in a medic. Together, the medic and the operator worked to gather as much information from Sharika as they could, including her location, exactly what happened, and which direction she thought Carruth was headed. Despite being shot 4 times, Sharika managed to share details about precisely where she was located, most of Carruth's home address and license plate number, and details of the events that just unfolded, all while remaining calm, courteous, and helpful. Remarkable, given the excruciating pain she was experiencing. That 12-minute call and all the damning information Sharika shared in it would turn out to be the single most important piece of evidence in the case against the person who orchestrated the hit, Ray Carruth. Paramedics arrived and administered aid to the profusely bleeding Sharika. She shared the same account of what happened.
Wow. Hey, I mean, it's funny because it seems like to me the only people that are offering, even as far back as this is early 2000s, late 20, whenever. Doesn't seem like black men were offering much protection back then. You know, protection could have been somebody saying, hey, bruh, what are you talking about? Welcome in, Mills. Hey, bruh, what are you talking about? Why you want to kill why you want to kill Shorty like that? Don't do that, bruh. Don't you think that would have been black men protecting other black women? No. They threed up in a car to delete her. In Mills in the house, I remember that. It was so sad, and their child was left handicapped. Yes. It was so sad. So sad. Let me play a little bit more and then I have some big news for you. Guess what?
Them. She was transported to Carolina's medical center, where her baby was delivered via emergency C-section at 1:42 a.m., about 80 minutes after she'd been shot. It was a boy, and he was named Chancellor Lee, a name that Sharika had already chosen if the baby were to be a boy. As soon as he was delivered,
See, there you go. You thought I was kidding about the black male baby thing, right? Nope. Nope, I was not. No, I was not. These men out here, I wonder how many did he put in the ground? You know? I wonder what he did. He has the money. He had a lot more money than Ray Caruth, right? I'm going to take a quick break, though. A quick break because I got some news for you. Get this. Let me get to it real quick. Oh my God, Jamie Foxx being sued for grape at a New York City restaurant. What are we doing out here, fellas? What is going on? This is from Storm Monroe, by the way. Let me see what we got going on here. I don't want to take all of his information, but let's listen to the little soundbite.
Being sued, okay, for sexual assault that took place in a New York City restaurant. Shout out to the Shade Room. I just saw this. All right, it says Shade Room. No, it says the court documents obtained by TMZ. A woman is accusing Jamie Foxx of sexually assaulting her 8 years ago at Catch NYC in Ruth. The unnamed woman claims that the incident started after her friend asked Jamie for a photo. She claims that Jamie seemed intoxicated at the time and replied, "Sure, baby, anything for you." She says that Jamie went on to compliment her body and even told her that she looks like Gabrielle Union. Oh, damn. Okay. So ma'am, you was thick, is what you're saying. You was thick, you was shapely. You was tall, you was brown skinned. Okay. All right, let's see. According to the outlet, she then claims that Jamie pulled her by the arm to the back area of the rooftop, where he allegedly placed both hands on her waist and moved them under her top. He placed both hands on her waist, moved under her top, and started rubbing her breasts.
Wow. And all this time, we thought he was respectable. A lady breaks it down like this. The Me Too statute runs out, is about to run out. It's going to be a weekend of exposure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Abusers always defend abusers. Bars. Bars. The chat is popping. There was one more I wanted to catch. Yes, treason. He set her up on the road after going out with her. That's cold-blooded right there. I don't see how he only got 20 years. I don't see. Phoenix Soul breaks it down like this. Not torch. First thing they do is bring it back to the woman. Yep. So this is what's going on. Another role model. We're running out, fellas. We're running out real quick. We're running out of role models. Oh, you don't want to go to the manosphere either. It gets worse. Half of them fools have been through the system, if you know what I mean. New Diamond breaks it down like this. Abusers usually say it's the woman's fault. Yes, she got pregnant and she got abused and unalived. Exactly. Talking about Caruth's girlfriend. I'd rather have a dog or just me, myself, and I. Yeah. I mean, the thing is this. That BS that Kevin Samuels was saying about buying a dog and dying alone, it don't sound so bad if this is the option. Either being raped or deleted. You know?
We said, let me see them titties, baby. The plaintiff says that the touching progressed with Jamie putting his hand in her pants. Damn! Jamie.
Wow. He breaks it down, starting to sound like ... They're coming after the men with the preferences. Yeah.
He was drunk. Allegedly, Jamie was on his Trey songs. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's doing the Trey songs. Well, I mean, you name it. Trey Songs, Chris Brown, Tory Lanez, you name it. And Cynthia G's just shrugging her shoulders right now. I guarantee you. Told you. That I told you, shrug. I told you, shrug. I just showed you black men deleting black male babies and black men. Well, if you can call them that, I don't know I think that's where the bandit theory comes in. I call them zombies myself because zombies have no empathy. These were you can't call them a role model now. Pillars of the community. I am so damn embarrassed right now. I am so embarrassed. It's funny because, the manosphere, they be coming after me real hard and shit. Mentally trying to get in my head and shit. But shit, they don't have to do shit when these dudes are doing this. Stressful.
Ben Fatale said the blackmail reckoning is here. It sure seem like it. People coming back 8 years. Listen, I'm not mad at it. If you did it, you did it. Now the crazy. Now you guys may be wondering like why is everybody?
Damn, bro. At least get paid for pandering. Don't do it for free. King, it's really not about pandering. It's about just telling the truth. I mean, pandering is saying something that's not a fact. What part of pandering was it when I was just basically pointing out that there were 5 black men that planned in the demise of a woman over a pregnancy? And the sad part is where's the pandering where we're seeing our own fellow men that are super famous acting like barbarians? Shouldn't you be saying something like, damn, bro, that's not supposed to be how we are supposed to be? That's what's going through my mind. is, why are we doing this? Shouldn't that be the response? I can't say, King Lucifer, I can't save these men. So I might as well try to save as many women as I can. It's like those zombie movies. You've seen them. You've seen them. Resident Evil and shit. Where it comes down to a point where, you know, people had to run away from their loved ones because they turned into zombies and shit. Because the zombies, they had no empathy anymore. They weren't the same people anymore. They just started eating brains. I mean, doesn't this bother you? I mean, doesn't this bother you that all of these role models end up doing this? If you want to see real pandering, go over to the manosphere all day, every day. They're literally lying. In fact, I'll give you some good options. Didi is one. Obsidian is another one. Then there's Chantel Simone. And then there's MTR. And then there's the Poor Man's Podcast. You want to hear some pandering, telling black men they're fine when they're not, telling black men that we're fine, like we don't need to do anything, we're good, when we're not. That's the problem. Phoenix Sun, thank you so much for this super sticker. Phoenix Soul, I should say. Phoenix Soul. So I don't mind. Look, I don't mind. Everybody has a right to to an opinion. But you gotta see, it's freaking it's Resident Evil out here and shit. It's freaking Resident Evil. We gotta wake up. We got to wake up. It's okay to be a grown man. But unfortunately, role models is what molds young men into older men. And it's not about you. It's about it's about the black male community. So let's think about it like this. Let's think about it like this. I'm a black man and I love the community. I do. In general, the idea of the black community. Now, if the men ain't listening, right? They're not going to listen to any square like me or Russell Wilson or Marquise Brownlee. They're not going to listen. No, they're not going to listen to black men like, I bet, when was the last time you went to the manosphere and they mentioned, even in passing, Russell Wilson in a positive light? When was the last time they even talked about the resilience of the quarterback for the Texans? Or the resilience of the quarterback for the Browns? Nope, never did. You know what they talk about? Disrespecting black women and how complaining about black women. Hey, lady, thank you so much. $20 super chat. I appreciate it. A lady says they're brain dead, Torch. I don't really speak to them anymore. Exactly that. It's Resident Evil up in here. It's freaking Resident Evil up in here. I'm just, look, I just find it kind of weird that instead of expressing your disappointment in Jamie Foxx, you expressed your disappointment in me. That's disappointing. That's what's sad. So we have Ray Caruth. We have the guy who threw his baby's mom through a TV set. We have Jamie Foxx. High value men. We can't forget about forget about Diddy. That's the problem. Empathy can't actually King, empathy itself in its true form cannot be used in a manipulation tactic. False empathy, I agree. False empathy, I am 100% behind. So I think if we put false in your sentence, we are in 100% agreement. But empathy in its nature is not it's not a form of manipulation in its nature, in its core meaning. It's not. New Dominant says this. I wouldn't depend on a black man to piss on me if I was on fire. He'd probably be the one to set me on fire. Most are unhinged, mad at their own failures, mad because they can't take white men down. Yeah, white men down. New Diamond. LV Ahedo puts it like this. King Lucifer, your father and uncles wasn't your role models? Good. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. My dad was my role model, that's for sure. So, I mean, that's disappointing, really. I mean, I'm pointing out the problem and getting attacked for it. And Mills breaks it down just like this. Caruth apologized to his disabled son, which he created by deleting his mother while she was pregnant. Let's play a little bit more. Storm Monroe right here. Like, subscribe. Boom.
Everybody coming forward. There is like a New York Survivors Act, and I think the deadline is tomorrow or the 24th. So nonetheless, we're gonna see a lot of these coming out. All right. Who told y'all he don't like black women? Listen, just because he wasn't in a relationship with one don't mean that he won't fondle and have sex with one. Come on now, y'all. We know that. Let's see. Okay, so we had his hand in her pants until a friend came over and saw what was happening. She claimed that she had to undergo medical treatment and suffered pain and emotional distress as a result of the sexual assault, abuse, assault, and gathering. She is reportedly suing Jamie as well as the restaurant for compensatory what? I don't know why I can't read tonight. And punitive damages. Whoa! So what do y'all?
What do I think? I think it's embarrassing. I think it's painful to watch. I have to admit, I was a Jamie Foxx fan. Thank you, Quita. Quita, it's a good show, DJ. Thanks. Thank you. I was a fan of Jamie. I wasn't a fan of Diddy. I thought he was a song stealer. I thought he was sneaky, and he turned out to be just like that. But Jamie, I thought he was cool, but he's not. It's just another zombie.
Think. Do y'all believe it?
We'll soon find out, I guess. Let's get back to our normally. All right. Back to Ray Caruth. Thank you, Quita. Quita Ward, thank you so much. Good show, DJ. I'm trying to put down a little bit. You know, pandering ain't easy. You know what I mean? Funny what these, these things come up with like that. I mean, we're supposed to be fixing things, not breaking them. We're supposed to be fixing women. Yeah, you're right. El Viajero, pues, DJ Torch, anyone that hangs with Diddy is a suspect, basically. Birds of a feather. T breaks it down like this. When holding men accountable, they think it's pandering. They want you to mention women's fault too. But men are not supposed to be compared to themselves to, men are not supposed to compare themselves to women. Men talk to men, women talk to women. Bars. Women are not taking men into bathrooms and graping them. It just, I'm sure it's happened, but they're not, that's just not what they do. That's a good argument. Maxius. Wait, so Jamie Foxx is automatically guilty because someone filed a lawsuit. Let's say he's not guilty, but let's just say we're concerned. I didn't say guilty. But I think right now it's like there's a time frame for people to do things, and it's right now. And unfortunately, let's keep it going. We're back into Ray Caruth, who literally hired like 5 guys to delete his girlfriend. Hey, Lady says this, ninjas better hope women don't file criminal charges against these low-level abusers. Yep. Maxius says this. Yeah, I am. I'm going to stop being a fan. That's not telling somebody's guilty. It's basically I'm not liking the way it sounds right now. Hey, lady, remember I said brain dead. Here we go. Back into the CTE, back into Ray Caruth. I'll tell you what, Maxius, and I tell you what, to everybody who's out there If he turns out to be perfectly innocent, I will make it a point to do a live stream to apologize about it. How about that? I will do that.
He was blue from lack of oxygen, a factor that likely contributed to him developing cerebral palsy afterward. Doctors originally thought that Sharika would survive the shooting, but that the baby would not. Sharika was treated, including an endotracheal tube being inserted into her throat, leaving her unable to speak. But even with that, she still continued to implicate her on-again, off-again boyfriend. The attending nurse asked Sharika what happened, and Sharika gestured for a pen and paper. She then described in writing the night's events again in detail, including that Caruth had insisted that she follow him to her house, and that before they left, she overheard him say to someone on the phone that, "We're leaving now." Shortly after writing the notes, Sharika fell into a coma. Through phone records and some sleuthing, investigators were able to track down Kennedy, who implicated Watkins. They both implicated Caruth. And on November 25th, 1999, Thanksgiving Day, authorities located and arrested Ray Caruth. Still an active NFL player, he quickly posted bond and was released on bail, under the condition that he was not to leave Mecklenburg County, and that he would surrender himself back to the sheriff's department should Sharika Adams or Chancellor Lee die. Back at the hospital, Chancellor Lee was defying the odds. He was improving, and despite the brain damage he incurred from lack of oxygen, he continued to survive and thrive. Sharika, however, did not recover. On December 14, 1999, at the age of 24, after spending nearly a month in a coma, Sharika Adams was removed from life support and passed away. With Sharika's death, Caruth was now facing first-degree murder charges and was slated to surrender himself to the sheriff's department. But he didn't. So the state issued a warrant for his arrest for the murder of Sharika Adams. But Caruth had a plan. There was never any shortage of women who wanted to be around him. So in addition to the women he was dating, typically about 2 at a time, as would later be revealed in court, he also retained a number of female friends. So he called on one of them, Wendy Cole. She was an acquaintance who would watch Caruth's dog and gather his mail when he was out of town. She also knew some of his family members. She was just about to head to California to attend cosmetology school, and Caruth convinced her to allow him to stow away in the trunk of her Nissan Maxima on her journey. They left at 10 p.m. on the day Sharika was declared dead, the trunk hurriedly packed with a cell phone, energy bars, 2 empty 20-ounce sports drink bottles for Caruth to urinate in, and Caruth. After driving through the night, an exhausted Cole checked into a Best Western hotel at 8.
Now that's what you call being a super pick-me. Actually keeping a guy from getting, keeping due process from happening.
8:35 a.m. in Tennessee along the interstate, 500 miles from Charlotte. Unsure of how much longer she was willing to harbor a fugitive, she went inside the hotel room and called Caruth's mother, Theodore. Theodore's immediate concern was for her son's safety, worried he would be shot and killed if he were to lead authorities on a days-long manhunt. So, she did what she felt she had to do to protect her son. She contacted the bail bondsman, who was also frantically searching for her son, since he'd be out $3 million if the fugitive didn't surface. With the bail bondsman knowing he would not be able to traverse 500 miles in time to nab Caruth before they set off again, he contacted Charlotte police, who contacted an FBI agent in Tennessee, Mark Post. Post gathered 4 other agents and alerted them that they were about to apprehend a famous fugitive. Armed with hotel room number 149, the color and model of her car, and a photo of Caruth they printed off the internet, they quietly sped into the hotel parking lot that all the hotel's doors opened to. They worked with the front desk to lure Cole out of the room, not certain whether Caruth had any weapons or whether there would be trouble if they tried to enter with both Cole and Caruth in the room. Once they lured Cole out of the room, they asked her if Caruth was inside the room. She said no and allowed them to search it. When they came up empty, they told her they weren't going anywhere until they found him and asked her if she knew where he was. She did not respond, but she deliberately glanced at her keys. That was what
Wow. Okay, here we go.
they needed. Having previously looked inside the car and its floors before heading to the room, they were confident he must be in the trunk. Not sure whether Carruth had a weapon or not, they positioned an agent on each side of the trunk, guns fixed on its opening. And a third agent lay below the trunk on his side, positioned so he could reach up and unlock the trunk. Once everyone was ready, Post called out, alerting Carruth that they'd surrounded the car. Post instructed him that they were going to open the trunk, just enough for him to poke his hands through, and that he needed to cooperate. Carruth responded, "Yes, sir." So they popped the trunk, and as soon as the opening reached about 2 inches, Carruth's hands shot out, surprising the agents with how quickly he complied.
Let's pause it there. He breaks it down like this. It's hard not to believe that these allegations, hard not to believe these new allegations. If looking at YouTube, most of them agree with DV assault and grape. Yeah. What do they expect? We are supposed to think they're all innocent.
They retrieved him from the trunk. Carruth initially had trouble standing since by now it was early evening.
He does look like his mother. Yeah, he sure does.
And he'd been curled in the fetal position in the trunk for 21 hours. His pants were also around his knees. Agents helped him pull his pants up and handcuffed him. In the trunk, they found 2 bottles full of urine and several energy bar wrappers. His actual position was illustrated in court, demonstrating his confinement when he was captured. He was extradited back to Charlotte and charged with first-degree murder. Up until he became a fugitive.
I bet that you know, the bail bonds guys is probably had a party after this. Like, oh, I almost lost a lot of money. Probably would have shut down his spot.
Carruth had actually remained on the Carolina Panthers roster. But the moment he climbed into the trunk of the Nissan Maxima, turning himself into a fugitive, the team cut him, and the NFL suspended him indefinitely. Meanwhile, as Chancellor's condition continued to improve, he was finally released from the hospital, and Sharika's mother, Sandra Adams, was able to take her grandson home to begin the lifetime of caring she was grateful to be able to provide him.
As Black women always do. Serene breaks it down like this. CTE is no joke. I deal with one. Thank God he took advantage of the programs the NFL has for mental health for them. They can go to really dark places. Serene, thank you for making that statement, bringing it to our attention. Bars. Of course, his pants were sagging. His pants were sagging. I think he was doing that hip hop thing, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe he was taking a piss. We don't know. Here we go.
Carruth's trial began in October of 2000, with it being the first time in history that an active NFL player would be on trial for murder. The trial was nationally televised headline news. Even the recent unprecedented O.J. Simpson trial coverage, which had taken place just 4 years prior, did not involve an active NFL player. Once the trial was underway, Carruth's defense never wavered. They contended that Ray Carruth was not there when Sharika Adams was shot. They claimed that the couple had been at a movie together, but that they left in separate cars and Carruth had nothing to do with the shooting. They tried to convince the jury that Carruth had been caught up in a drug deal with Watkins that had gone wrong, claiming that Carruth was supposed to finance the deal, backed out of it, and the pair had a falling out as a result. But they had little to back it up.
No, that won't work, because if that was the case, they wouldn't have deleted the young lady. They would have deleted Carruth. It's that simple. Why would you delete the young lady? It's different if they were trying to make an example or something like that, but he didn't care about her and they knew he didn't care about her. So that meant nothing. Nope. The drug thing doesn't work.
Prosecution presented a whole host of witnesses that implicated Carruth in the shooting, but the most damning piece of evidence was the 911 recording, which contained Sharika's powerful testimony about who was responsible for her death. Others were also called to outline in detail how Carruth was a womanizing philanderer who used and discarded women without regard.
Oh, sounds like the manosphere.
Amber Turner, the woman that Caruth forced
Sounds like Diddy
to get an abortion shortly after he had his first child by another woman, also testified. She relayed Caruth's complete opposition to supporting another child. She stated how she'd once heard Caruth joking about killing the mother of his first child so that he wouldn't have to pay the mother any money.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that what they talk about in the manosphere, is not wanting to pay money for child support? Isn't that creepy and scary? That is so scary. That is so creepy.
Also testified that Caruth claimed he had acquaintances in California that would do it for him, and that after she became pregnant with Caruth's child, he stated that he wasn't going to have any more kids with someone he wasn't going to be with. And don't make me send somebody out there to kill you.
Wait a minute. Doesn't that sound familiar? I saw that on Kendra G's show.
First child by another woman also testified. She relayed Caruth's complete opposition to supporting another child. She stated how she'd once heard Caruth joking about killing the mother of his first child so that he wouldn't have to pay the mother any money. She also testified that Caruth claimed he had acquaintances in California that would do it for him, and that after she became pregnant with Caruth's child, he stated that he wasn't going to have any more kids with someone he wasn't going to be with. And don't make me send somebody out there to kill you. You know I'll do it. She even presented a letter that Caruth wrote to her, which outlined what she should say to the police or media if asked about his son, Chancellor. It included, number 1, upset I missed the baby being born. Number 2, upset I missed his first steps, first words. Amber's testimony was helpful to the prosecution. However, in a bizarre and frankly disturbing twist, Amber's mother took the stand for the defense. She started by testifying that she knew about a first pregnancy that her daughter had with Caruth in which she miscarried, and she claimed that Caruth was happy about the prospect of having a baby, fully contradicting what her daughter claimed. She stated that hearing her daughter's testimony about the second pregnancy and Caruth's forced abortion was the first she had ever heard of it. And then, once she had completed her testimony, she left the stand. And as she passed the defense table, she turned to Caruth, smiled, and mouthed the words, "I love you." The extent of Caruth's enchantment on women seemed to have no bounds, not even when on trial for murder.
That's the trip. Wow. A lady breaks it down just like this. How about $400 a month will help your kid and keep you out of jail? No, they'd rather have a record, go to jail with the homies, and have unlimited GAY SEX choices, bars. King Lucifer breaks it down like this. She made the right decision to abort the child. Otherwise, she would have, yes, she would have been the one deleted. And this is my point right here. These are the decisions. See, when these men don't want to have a kid, they do not want to have a kid. And they will go this far. This is very common. If I remember right, a Black woman's deletion rate goes up 9 times. She's 9 times more likely to be deleted when she is pregnant. Guess why? Because men, I'm just going to let men want to delete their own situations because they're in situations that they like better. The woman could have been a side or something like that. See, men have more of a reason for wanting to delete than women do. Women, that's their blood. That little child is their blood. Man, they can, how many men have you heard? Like T.O. is a good example. He is a secret child. Lived across the street from his father. Never knew it until he was 11. Yep. Phoenix Soul broke it down. Childcare, $1,000 a month. Food, $500 a month. But the child support's $500 a month. If that, I heard the average is like $400. What is your contribution really? Bars. Bars.
On the stand, Kennedy corroborated Caruth's opposition towards supporting another child. He also testified that Caruth called him at 12:19 a.m. on the night of the murder to tell him that he and Sharika were getting ready to leave the house, exactly as Sharika had reported.
Here's a tip, ladies. If for God's sakes, don't try to get pregnant without a real commitment from somebody, which is a ring or something, a house, ring house. But if the man that you are that makes you pregnant starts complaining about child support or complaining about not wanting a child, get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there. Figure it out later. Get the hell out of there. Because they will go there.
Just before she went into a coma. Everyone's combined testimony pointed to Caruth's involvement. The most compelling witness of them all was the hitman himself, Van Watkins. Across 2 days, he testified about the details surrounding Caruth hiring him to kill Sharika, including how Caruth blocked Sharika's path with his vehicle, watched the attack in his rear view mirror, and drove off. After 11 weeks of testimony from 70 witnesses, the trial came to a close. And on January 19th, 2001, 1 day shy of Caruth's 27th birthday, the jury found Ray Theodis Caruth guilty of discharging a firearm into occupied property, conspiracy to commit murder, and other charges. But he was found not guilty of first-degree murder, sparing him the death penalty. Jurors noted afterward that they were conflicted about charging Caruth with first-degree murder since he didn't actually pull the trigger, and since the assassin who actually did kill Sharika had pleaded down to second-degree murder. They said had they been given the option of second-degree murder, they would likely have found him guilty of that charge. Caruth was sentenced to no less than 18 years and no more than 24 years in prison. Caruth's co-conspirators faced their own trials. Watkins...
Pause there. LV Ajero Pues says child support is okay if you want your child to live in struggle life. Yep. But if you want to be a father, you have to do more. Bars. Bars. Welcome, Indiana Mom.
The hitman entered into a plea bargain and pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for his testimony. He was sentenced to 50 years. Kennedy also agreed to testify against Caruth, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, and was sentenced to 11 years. Stanley Abraham, the least involved of the group, pleaded guilty to being an accessory after the fact to assault with a deadly weapon and shooting into an occupied vehicle. He was sentenced to 90 days.
Press 1 if you think the sentences were just. Press 2 if you think they were a little bit light. Press 3 if you think they were a little bit heavy. I'm going to drop the link just in case somebody wants to come up. Phoenix Soul breaks it down like this. Listen to me. One single time I gave my last live ex just the light bill to pay. Man, we were in the dark. Oh my God. That's the only time my lights were ever off. FOH. Yeah, I think the sentences were a bit on the light side myself. I'm looking at, I guess if his testimony was, nah, he should have got life. But I guess 50 years is life. I don't know how old he was, but I assume that he was in his 40s. That'll be 90. He should have got at least 20. He should have got at least 15. I mean, if you show up for a murder, my thing is this: if you show up for a deletion party, you deserve what you get. If you don't do that, if you don't have those types of laws in place, then the crime rate looks like it does now. That's just the point I'm bringing out.
An accessory after the fact to assault with a deadly weapon and shooting into an occupied vehicle. He was sentenced to 90 days. After Sharika's death, Sharika's mother, Sandra Adams, began raising Chancellor Lee Adams, who was 23 years old as of the making of this video. Chancellor suffered permanent brain damage due to a lack of oxygen after his mother was shot, and he lives with cerebral palsy. He has, however, thrived, learning to both walk and talk. In school, he was a straight A student. Sandra Adams said she chose early on that she would forgive Caruth, stating that she couldn't offer unconditional love to Chancellor if she didn't forgive Caruth. During an interview, she stated, "I'm more loving and compassionate than I ever thought I could be. And for that, I really have Ray Caruth to thank." Wendy Cole, the woman whose trunk Caruth hid inside of, was originally charged with harboring a fugitive. But 6 months later, that charge was dropped. Stanley Abraham, the tag-along in the car, was released in June of 2001 after having served a year and a half in prison for his role in the shooting. Michael Kennedy, the driver, served just under 11 years in prison and was likewise released in 2011. Van Watkins, the hitman, is currently serving his sentence at Central Prison in Raleigh, a maximum security prison. For disciplinary reasons, he spends 23 hours a day in a cell by himself, isolated from other inmates. He has been described as a difficult inmate, having been cited over 15 times for fighting, gambling, disobeying orders, assaulting a correctional officer, and other infractions. He harbors a huge amount of resentment that Ray Caruth didn't get sentenced to as much time as he did. He blames Caruth for ruining his life, reflecting, "I won't forgive Ray Caruth. I want him dead." Watkins will be eligible for release in the year 2046. Ray Caruth appealed his conviction, but was denied a new trial.
Wow, that was really a trip, but that just shows you how that mentality is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess the Lord is strong, King Lucifer. The Lord is strong. How can you forgive someone that deleted your daughter? That is wow. Yeah. I don't know. Hey, she's a bigger person than me. That's all I can say. Yeah, the victim suffered more than any of the guilty ones did. That's the feeling I get. The scary part is how similar the statements that these men are making sound very similar to a lot of the statements the men in the manosphere make. Yeah. A lady says he'll be on the street one day, ladies. Please do background checks on everyone, even the crazy mammies. Yep. Wow. I mean, that is crazy. That's crazy. But I got a little surprise for you. I got a little surprise. Not quite done. Not done yet.
I've never personally shaken hands with a murderer. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Very nice meeting you.
Doesn't that hurt your feelings?
No. And you got me riled up. You got me started.
After we finished filming, OJ said to me that he had a surprise for me, and I genuinely was surprised.
Just did you do it?
No, I didn't.
I think it was his idea of a joke.
Nope.
And this is it.
Did not do it. No, I didn't. Nope, did not do it.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
Juice, loose, I'm in this house.
Prosecute on team. Let the girl get away.
Hey, what's up? This is O.J. Simpson. Stay right where you are. Two people died and you're trying to make jokes? I don't get it.
So I gotta go.
If you think OJ did it, click a 4 in the chat. I'm trying a 4 in the chat. If you didn't think he did it, click 1. Go. Wow. Okay. So I think it's clear. I think it's clear. Oh, the treason foe. Okay. I think we got it clear here. I'm just gonna leave it like that because I think I'm gonna save an OJ for another live. But let's go back to Kim Porter's situation.
So, TikTok videos are going around of emails being released that allegedly show what was going to be in Kim Porter's book, and it was very explosive. Hey guys, it's Murad. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Back again with another video. If you have not subscribed, guys, click that button for daily and consistent.
Yeah, this is Murad. Murad. He sounds very professional. Very well. Very well. Let's see.
Consistent content is every single day, fresh content on this channel, 24/7 in quick nugget, bite-sized videos. Subscribe.
Go to his channel and like and subscribe. Go to his channel, like and subscribe. Let me keep it going.
Thumbs up, comment down below, send a super thanks. I would appreciate it. There's a dollar sign in regards to this book. As a TikToker, we're going to get into almost all of this. Subscribe, thumb, appreciate it. There's a dollar sign there if you guys wish to. And let's get straight into this mess. So we all know about what's going on with P. Diddy and etc. Now it seems that, first and foremost, all of this information is alleged. There's no evidence to support this, coincidentally. But, we're going to get into these blind items that have been released from anonymous sources in regards to this book. As a TikToker reads, these alleged notes in relation to Porter's supposed book claimed that Kim Porter put up with and witnessed certain things throughout her relationship with Diddy, who was recently accused of significant amount of abuse by ex-girlfriend Cassie in a recent bombshell lawsuit. Now, this was why, Kim Porter allegedly passed away, was killed, etc., because she was
OJ reminds me of George Zimmerman, clout chasing after the fact. Yep. But he was better at it. I think OJ was better at it, though.
About to write a tell-all book. This was something that Jaguar Wright said is very common with everybody around P. Diddy who had been mysteriously disappeared, killed, etc. They were going to write their own books, their own kind of messages, whatever you want to call it, about their experiences and what they had seen. And evidently, P. Diddy did not want this information to be released, or his people did not want this to be released, whoever at this point. This is what all, is being alleged.
Basically, the situation with Kim Porter is this. She had hands and feet put on her, too. And probably was given the cocktail for heaven. That's very sad to me. It's very sad that what makes it sad is it's not only that all of this is happening, but what is really sad, what's terrible to me, is this happens every day. King Lucifer says, Cassie has been doing the Birdman hand rub, LOL, 2 kids and no prenup. Quita Ward says, OJ was better at it. He stole his own shit. Yeah. Yep. But before we leave, I'm going to put a excellent role model that I'm going to do a very positive review on. This is what we black people should be doing.
See how the Eagles answer. Hurts. Smith.
Jalen Hurts. Has a manosphere brought him up? Nope. Not their kind of guy. Not their kind of guy. Leader of the Philadelphia Eagles, a professional football team filled with high-value men. Instead of the manosphere supporting him, you know who they support? Give me 1 second here. Let me bring you up what kind of men support Kevin Samuels supports. And the manosphere, by the way. Let me bring it up. I just want to make sure I find the right one. Take a guess. Everybody take a guess who I'm going to bring up that Kevin Samuels supports. I take a guess. Just write the full name in there. Both situations did not let's say it didn't work out. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see if I can bring it up a little bit bigger. Here we go. Here we go. Welcome to the stage, Phoenix Soul.
Hello, George, and everybody.
Hello, it's good seeing you on stage, Phoenix Soul. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great, and I appreciate you. And honestly, what I wanted to do, this is why I wanted to come up, because I wanted to tell you that I appreciate what you're doing. It's needed.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The thing is that it's important that the thing is this. If we don't change, if we as black men don't change, things are only going to get worse.
It's amazing to me. And when I say amazing, I mean it's filled with a lot of different emotions, right? I'm filled with sadness, hurt, because it's amazing to me that they are so unable to have that mirror in front of them and see themselves and get out of their own way. And for me, it's like, okay, so, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut up. The oldest bones to date that have been found are in Africa, and they're of a woman. So it is a black woman, right?
Right.
So we all came from a woman, got a name from a woman, and I came from a woman, right? So at the end of the day, black males, you see, this is all about the taking down of the God, right? The black woman, and you're helping that along. Why can't you see that? It's just baffling to me.
It's painfully sad. It's hard for me to watch. That's why I really take value in when I see black men doing something good. I mean, and they've been doing it for the consistency of their life. I mean, I'm a super fan. I'm not just a fan, a super fan. But see that they don't like the guys I like. They don't like Russell Wilson. You see what I'm saying?
No.
They don't like him. So, and they never got it. They never understood that it wasn't that I had a problem with all black men. I just had a problem with black men that behaved poorly. They don't see it like that.
It's so, it's different today, okay? And we're never going back. We are never going back to whatever they got in their heads of high value and tradition. We're not going back there, baby. That's just not how things work. But it's like, now we're moving into a more of a heart and a mind space. And if a person as an individual cannot incorporate the masculine and feminine aspects into their character to balance themselves out, they're not gonna make it. And these men are out here failing. They failing at that because the only thing they're concerned with is performative masculinity. So that's why they always want to say that, women want the thug, because that is what masculinity looked like. We ain't there no more. We not there no more, and we're not going back.
Very well said. Welcome to the stage, A Lady. How you doing tonight? Oh, A Lady, your mic is muted. But yeah, and it's funny because they like to see shows like this, or shows like this, my show like this, or even let's say other shows, instead of saying, something, that they got a point, maybe we should be doing better. They don't see it like that. They're like they get insulted and they keep it. They'd rather take the insult and then throw it back on the other side if they take it as an insult, when they should be saying, something, it's like this. We're not competing with these other cultures of men. We should be doing that instead of complaining about what black women are doing. They don't want to do that.
That is true black excellence, boo. That's true black excellence. Rise above. And it's not just in the physical. All this stuff is rooted in their ego. It doesn't make you high value to me. I don't care how much money you got. You're not how high value to me. It's about whether or not you're emotionally intelligent, whether or not you're self-aware, whether or not you can look at another person, that you consider weaker than you and treat them just as you would want to be treated.
Right. Exactly. Hey, lady, is your mic on? Oh, there you go. Hey, lady, welcome to the stage.
Good to talk to you again, DJ Torch. It's been a while.
Good hearing from you, hey, lady.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I have some thoughts. Great comments, and great show. So I really believe that the problem is beyond what we can fix. I believe it is medically an issue. The drugs that have been in our community have just damaged people, and it's a damage that we can't see, but we can definitely feel. I mean, it manifests in the physical, so you can see it now. And they definitely act on it, but it's also spiritual. And so when you have damaged people who are self-medicating, and they have children, and they continue to self-medicate, you're going to have people who are damaged. And we cannot be sacrificing ourselves to help these people by giving them children. That makes no sense, to make babies with people who are damaged.
Agreed.
And if you can't see that they're damaged, you can look at their actions and tell that something is off. I've been listening to Prince Ella this for the past, few weeks, and even though I fought against what she stands for and what she believes, I can't help but come around and see a lot of she just makes, great sense. She says something that really pissed the guys off, and that is that men can't love. And I think the answer to that is showing you can love. But instead, what they've done is showing how they can hate. Their answer to showing they can't love is to showing how much they can hate. So that tells you something right there. Stop rewarding people with children, with your bodies, with your money and your time and efforts. That's how I feel about it. And Torch, yeah, you're doing God's work here. We all have stalkers around YouTube streets, and to me, they're just setting an example of what Princella, what Sinji, what so many people are trying to get us to do, which is open our eyes. And I mentioned earlier, and I'll just say this and I'll stop because I know I'm on a tangent. I've been holding this in for a while.
Okay, take your time.
So two creators, two young, very young creators. As I mentioned, I won't say their names, but I liked their vibe, what they were talking about. And when I brought up the Tory Lanez situation, one said Chelsea did it, and the other one said Megan shot herself. So they are going against the whole law that said, he did it, and he has a record of being abusive and of being a drug addict. And with all of this evidence, they still want to put it on Megan. And I say that to say, we are conditioned, and this is what I got from Princella. We are in this society conditioned to hate women. The men are conditioned to hate women, and the women are conditioned to hate women. And, good on you if you don't feel that way, but women are conditioned to hate each other, to fight against each other for a position with men. And for what? To get hands and feet put on you? It just doesn't make sense.
You're right. And you see it all unfolding. And there's a question in the chat Darnell asked, and I want to address that. He asked, what advice would you give young ladies that do chase the thugs and men with money that don't respect them? Okay, so that's, to me, first of all, I don't give advice. All I can do is give you life experience, because at the end of the day, the individual is going to do what they don't do, because their story has to play out the way it has to play out. We could all see Keke Palmer going for destruction the same way with, what's her name? Is it Halle Bailey or Halle Bailey?
Yeah. Halle Bailey.
Okay. We see it. Okay. The unfortunate thing is, even my niece right now, I got a niece that's 23, and she, no matter what I have said, I could talk to Blue in the face. She is on her third pregnancy with this guy that she called her baby daddy. The other two they lost. So here we are in the third pregnancy, and he don't have anywhere to live. She don't have anywhere to live. They're both living with someone. Nobody can hold a job. And no matter how much she has seen her aunt, because I'm telling you, it's a struggle out here, especially like when you coming from, like I come from the hood where they, where the thug was the one that was praised. That's what I was looking for, and when you have the women coming up before you telling you like, oh, a man with money, at least you get money, and teaching you nothing about respecting yourself as a woman. Unfortunately, that story has to play out. What I would say is to value knowledge above all else, no matter where that takes me. Value knowledge above all else. If a girl thinks that, a man with money or a thug is the route, she gonna go there regardless of what I say. She just gonna have to learn the hard way. And it's sad. But the only thing that we can do is what we're doing. Put the seed. I'm not responsible to stick around and water it and cultivate it. My responsibility is to pass on the seed that was placed in me. And hopefully, like, you as a young woman, as an individual, make it through to get to the other side. I hope that answered the question. I know I'm long-winded, my bad.
No, that was wonderful. That was excellent.
I have an answer to that too. Like, why are you concerned about the woman who wants the man who's wrong for her? And if it's not in your family. Now, if they're in your family, that's different. But I just hear a lot of people wailing and moaning over women, and I'm speaking of the women who are not choosing them and are choosing someone else. If a woman is choosing a bad dude, that's not the woman for you. Okay. Now, if it's in your family, that like, I'm sorry, what's your name? I'm sorry.
Who, me?
On the panel.
Phoenix? Me? Yeah,
Yes,
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yeah, if it's in your family. I'm sorry. What was that, DJ?
Was that
her
okay?
name
So
is
the question that you're asking, is it from me or is it just
No,
in
no.
general?
I wanted to refer to your comment because it was so
Oh,
good. So it's Phoenix. Yeah, like you were saying, your family members. So of course we're going to be concerned about our family members, but I mean these guys that get on here and keep talking about what these 304s are doing. I mean, stop getting 304s pregnant, number one. How about that? Just say no. If you're so concerned about 304s, and we know where they come from. The 304s are damaged women that men touched when they were young. And that's what they keep doing, trying to make a supply of damaged women. They love when you're damaged because you're more likely to open yourself up to damaged men.
Right.
So, just to answer that question, don't worry about it. Just make sure that that's not your woman.
To piggyback off something that you said, a lot of it, like I remember, like as an example, when I was married, I realized that as long as I was the person in the relationship that my husband could look down on and judge, it was fine and beautiful for him to do that, because the more I was bad, he didn't have to concentrate on himself. So to me, that's a lot of the reason why these men, it's so hard for them to look inside, because for centuries we've been telling them a man is not concerned with that. A man is not emotional. A man doesn't cry. A man doesn't show his feelings. And now we're wanting them to do something they have absolutely no idea how to do. So it's easier for them to look outside of themselves and be like, well, you did well. What about these women though? Well, you need to choose better. You see what I'm saying? And it's what I see is like a bunch of running in circles for them. And that's why when I say like it saddens me, it does hurt me. Like as a mother, because I've raised sons, and sad to say, and it's something that my mother said though. My sons, they're not by Black men. And so my mother said, well, they didn't get that gene then, where their mind is not working correctly. I don't like that, because my brother's a Black man. My father's a Black man. I don't like that. That makes me sad. And they want to say that, oh, we hate men. No, baby. I hate the state that you're in. I want you to be better. But since you can't, I got to leave you behind.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
Bars. It's the state. Exactly. I mean, that's why I keep saying that they're in this zombie mode. It's like nobody has to be like that. You don't have to be thinking about sex 24/7 when you could be doing something more constructive and more to make you a success. And no, it's like it's like we went from one slavery to the other. Slavery of old school slavery where somebody else is running us, right? To now where we're new new automated slavery where we're letting our bad tempers, our lack of emotional regulation, our lack of logic that Kevin Samuels said we're supposed to have, right, get the better of us.
Right.
It's frustrating. It frustrates me more than they think. If these guys really want to get on my nerves, keep doing what you're doing. Just keep failing. Keep failing. Don't. If you want to get on my nerves, keep just doing loser stuff instead of being a good person, instead of striving to be a better person, instead of learning your chops to get a better job or to get through school, get those certifications and stuff. If you don't want to do all that, you're doing good if you want to get on my nerves. That's all I'm saying to my fellow men out there. You guys think I'm pandering? Fine. Keep failing and keep failing. That's you're going to be winning. I'm going to be just as mad. I'm going to just go ahead and point out the black men that are doing good, which unfortunately is a very small number right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem.
Men are supposed to hold men accountable, and women are supposed to hold women accountable. But for some reason, these men think that they're supposed to hold women accountable. I mean,
well, exactly.
Crazy.
You know why I think, and I'm not one to keep harping, but my strong belief, especially as far back as I can remember or I can research, the introduction of religion put the male in the spot that he didn't deserve. The male God and all of these things of in different religions where a woman has to come down off of her throne or be less than just so the male is uplifted. That is the issue, and it is a deep virus, and that's why I can tell you right now. I used to have a pastor friend, and and we talk about we talk about back in the day, but I can tell you right now, he would still be, well, what you mean, God, and he says, no, baby, no, I'm gonna need you to get your mind outside of there. But they can't do it because they have to have importance. They have to have dominance. Their testosterone rooted in competition. Competition is rooted in that testosterone. So they're like, well, if I'm not on the top, then who is? Baby, can we just be?
Right.
That and being is the feminine energy. Masculine is always wanting to go, do, be, conquer. Feminine energy is wanting to can we just be? Huh? And that's something that males can't understand. And I'm thinking to myself, that's also possibly why they say that we crazy. What you mean, just be? What you mean?
Listen, talk about crazy. Okay, I'm going to tell this really quick story, I hope. So Princella was invited on a show called the Stingy Man Podcast or something like that. I can't remember the name. And she was talking to a pastor. Both of them were guests on the show. He was a pastor and he advises, of course, everybody's a coach now, right? So he says he stands for marriage. And if you want a good kiki, I mean, that's just Google or look for that show last night with Princella. It was hilarious. Anyway, he's trying to defend marriage and how he's such a good man and all his men that are his friends are good men. And so the people in the chat started talking about, well, what about your DV charge, Pastor? He has two DV charges on his second marriage, and he said his current wife said he choked her up. But he had and he had the audacity to tell Princella, because she's a lesbian, that lesbian marriages have a higher rate of divorce and domestic violence. Yet he's sitting up here a whole abuser. Okay.
And
So it's
that's the thing that's consistently funny. And because it's with each one of them, they think that they have the handle on it, that they're winning the conversation. Oh, he ate. No, no. You weren't even sitting at the table, sweetheart. You have absolutely no idea that if all of the men are saying, well, not the men I know, then there would be a larger number of y'all to date, wouldn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not the ones I know. The ones I know, we like this. No, 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 no. That's gonna be a no. And they can't see that. They like to follow each other and don't realize that. They think that they're so original and so not self-aware. And that's
But it's
what,
the
and that's
lying. It's the
my
deflection
apologies.
and the lying. No, no, you're fine. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I was just saying it's the deflection and the lying. You're absolutely right.
I was looking in the chat. Torch, forgive me. Like I said, I'm long-winded, but I'm seeing like Darnell is saying both men and women were punished for the original sin. Um, I wonder what it would look like if you possibly allowed yourself to think outside of anything that you've been told, taught, conditioned, brought up in. If you were actually able to think for yourself and think that 1 minute that everything that you've been told about religion and God and who God is, the identity and all of it is a lie. Allow yourself that 1 second to think that. Now, a lot of people can't do that. It is not for weak-minded individuals follow. But I ain't come here for that.
Exactly. I mean, to
Well,
me, it's like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say I've got to drop down, but it's been so good talking to both of you and enjoying the chat too. You guys carry on. Good
Thank you,
show.
Emily.
Hey, lady,
Okay.
it's been a pleasure having you on here, and hope to
Thank
see you
you
again.
so much. Yes, you will. Okay. Bye-bye.
So, I mean, it's really simple. It's really simple that all Black men we have to do. We don't even have to necessarily win as far as like competing with other cultures. We just have to better ourselves so that we're not getting pummeled in competition, if you know what I mean. And we're unwilling to do that. We'd rather do what we're doing right now, which is unfortunate. And the manosphere, they are the ones that are manifesting and keeping this problem going. It's a shame.
You know what's unfortunate, Torch? Coming to the realization that I'm a retired Army. All right. So and I'm also a military sexual trauma survivor. And after I got out, I had to go to therapy. But believe you me, it took me a long time and a lot of pain to get to the point where I knew I had to go. Now, when I did start going, I started going to like a group. And it was a group that I put together.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of that group, by the 3rd or 4th week, because there was like a lot of men, a few women. By the 4th week, I was the only one in there. And I remember looking at the psychologist and I said to him, I said, you're giving of your time to come facilitate this group and I'm the only one showing up. And he said to me, it's okay. If I reach only one, I've done my job. So I'm saying all that to say is we know like it's unfortunate, but there's still going to be a manosphere in some aspect, some way, shape, form, or fashion. Somebody is not going to come along. But if we can just get one, if we could just get one, I can tell you for a fact, like I had a moment this morning with my sons. They left for work this morning. The two of them, they're starting a business together. And in that instance, I realized at least I reached those two by
Exactly.
myself because their father died 10 years ago. So I've raised them by myself. I'm a single mother because he died. And that's why I hate it when they're out here talking about all the, oh, a single mother is the no, baby. Nope. The problem is not being self-aware. If you
Right.
got a hurt, damaged woman out here and she refuses to get better, she's gonna raise hurt, damaged men. That's just how it goes.
Yep. Very
But
true.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway, I think this is a perfect time to end this. Phoenix Soul, you were doggone so welcome to come up anytime you'd want to.
Thank you, sir.
Your knowledge and information was very greatly appreciated. Everybody give her, Phoenix Soul, a hand of applause. Please do. Put, claps or ones or whatever means a positive thing, because the information you and A-Lady were putting down was badly needed. I'm hoping that this live stream will reach a lot of people. I'm tempted to put it on my Facebook, and
I'm gonna share.
hopefully people will listen and take heed to the words.
I'm absolutely grateful for you and everybody. I'm grateful to be over here. I'm grateful that you exist and you got my support 100%. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Y'all
all right,
have a good
everybody.
night.
This is DJ Torch, and good night, Phoenix Soul. I'm out of here. All right, in the house, Tim Mills, Serene, Phoenix Soul, Alexander Brandon, Rita Ward, T,
It's not hard to fool me.
King Lucifer,
Addicted to the good life.
Now Elliott,
Lead the way.
Old Reflection,
I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe.
The Treason,
I follow to the edge of it all. To the edge of it all.
of course, A-Lady.
So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll find no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible.
And up in the crowd,
Before the moment flies.
who's up there doing, who did this together.
So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll find no matter what.
Using Casket, Kiss RV,
Susceptible. Before the moment
Serene's in the
flies.
house, Max.
It's not a problem. Cause I know
Thank
what
everyone
I'm getting
for the super
into.
chats,
Yeah.
super stickers.
Nothing can stop me.
Thank you.
Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say where we
Let's
are
be live.
headed now, babe. I follow
Mr. Scooby,
to the edge of it all.
Adamant on Black Women,
So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll find no matter what. Yeah.
the Jam.
Susceptible.
Everybody, happy holidays.
Before the moment
Have a great Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow.
So tell you good night. 'Cause I'll find no matter what.
Again, thank you for your time
Susceptible.
and your knowledge.
Before the moment